with the women that are like completely showing off with just the random quote. Why? Just put a peach. Be like, look at my dump truck, everyone. Like, let's just keep it real.
All right, and we are rolling another episode of Kash's Top 5. Joining me today, it's kind of interesting because I feel like I've known you for years now, and I consider
know.
you a radio friend, but we've never met in real life. That's the technology we have of today. But
Right.
joining me today, my friend Cody. Hello.
Hi. Hi. And nice to kind of formally meet you. Well, not formally,
Yeah,
but kind of face to face.
as face to face as we're going to get, not only being
Right.
very far apart. You're in Sacramento. I'm in Pensacola right now. So also the pandemic. So even if we were in the same city, we should probably be separate. So
Yeah.
I appreciate you doing this. This is one that I've wanted to do for quite a while, and I hope you're not offended because you're on a morning show.
Don't get offended.
I should introduce you're on a morning show. You're there 105.1 KNCI in Sacramento, so people can find you every weekday morning there. And you live your life, no filter, no bullshit. You lay it out there. You call
Yep.
dudes out. You call people out, and I love it.
Honestly, I'm surprised I haven't gotten fired yet for that very reason. But
Oh, that's what they got to keep you
that's
around.
part of the charm.
Well, a perfect guest for today's top 5. What are we ranking today?
We are ranking the top 5 most annoying things about the opposite sex. So I'm obviously going to do men as a straight woman, and you are going to do women.
And we're going to do this very carefully so we don't get canceled and piss
Right.
too many people off. And I will say, just as kind of a be the wet blanket, these are generalities. These are
Personal.
stereotypes. Not every woman does what I'm going to complain about. Not every dude does what you're going to complain about, I'm sure.
Right.
This is for fun. And hopefully, if they apply to you, you'll change or you'll just get over
Right.
it. So
Hopefully you'll learn something from this.
yeah, we're all
I'm
going to be better
from this.
people.
Right.
Okay, so top 5 most annoying things about the opposite sex. We're going to start with you. What's your number 5, Cody?
Okay. This should really be number 1, but it's so basic. The creepiness. Now, guys, I know you're not all creepy. I know. And you know what? If you're young and you're single and you're good looking and you've got like things going for you, please jump in my DMs. But there are a lot of people in my DMs who it's just like inappropriate, whether it's what they're saying, what they're showing, or age. Gosh, and it's not only that, it's not even be able to walk down the street without getting hollered at or being at the gas station and people looking at you. It's just overall creepiness. You tone it down, you know? Take a hard look at
So
yourself.
I am shocked that this isn't higher for you. You said it could be number 1, so I'm
It really
guessing
could be. But this one's just kind of like easy, right? Like all girls feel this way. Men even know this is a thing. I get asked all the time from guys, so what does your DMs really look like? Like, could you show me something? What's the creepiest thing people have said to you? It's like they know that, you know, someone like me being on the radio would get these type of comments, but it's even like any girl gets this.
Well, that's because every dude has creep factor in him.
Yeah.
And you just have to learn to have the filter on. And that's part of the price I think we pay for the technology we use. Like,
Right.
if I were to see you in a restaurant, you know, I could come up and say some horrible stuff, but I'm not because we're kind of programmed to not do that. But if it's an Instagram direct message, it's private. I can, and especially if I don't have like my name or my photo attached to my account, I'm just talking crap and talking mess. I'll say some terrible things if I'm that creepy guy. Now, my question for you,
Yeah.
is there a limit to, because clearly creepiness is okay if the guy's good looking. Am I wrong there?
There is a double standard based on looks.
Is there a limit though? Like you can be very good looking, but you gotta really, is there a limit to how creepy a good looking guy can be?
I think most women at this point, we know that we have to have boundaries. You have to have boundaries because there are serial killers out there who are really good looking, and you have to know, you know, what's right and wrong. I know that sounds so simple, but it's true. Like if someone is giving you that vibe where, I mean, gosh, if they're asking for pictures, if they're sending you pictures that are just, I mean, really off the cuff, like that's not okay. Or I'm sure like there's certain things they could say that's just so over the top and so icky that you would just be like, oh, delete, block immediately. Like, I don't care. And first of all, I'm probably going to assume that you're a catfish, but even if that wasn't, even if a celebrity was in my DMs, if they were like so inappropriate and creepy to the point where I was really like icked out, then no, I would block, probably screenshot and then block.
Yeah, always save the content. You need
Right.
that. So, question for you: does a guy have a legitimate shot with you by DMing you on Instagram? If
You know,
that's how he feels like that's the only way he can really, like, he's not being creepy. He's kind of polite and respectful about it. Is
right.
there a way for that to go well?
That's actually a really good question. For me personally, probably not. I just don't really trust people on the internet, which is funny because I'm
Yeah.
on dating. Well, I'm not currently, but I have been on dating apps, so it's the same thing, really. But I think at least with dating apps, you know that the motivation is to potentially date, right? Like,
Mhm.
okay, I know that's how we met. Now maybe we're on Instagram or messaging back and forth. But if it's just someone random, I don't know. That's just, I've never crossed that line before. It's not to say that I wouldn't, but I don't know what would change my mind. I really
Okay.
don't. Yeah, I personally have never gone on a date with a guy that just randomly DM'd me and was like, hey, I'd love to meet up sometime. That hasn't happened yet.
Well, and you're still alive, so that's probably good that you've been doing
And
that.
single, so there's plenty of time.
Okay, well, I'm shocked that that one ranks so low. I'm now very curious what the rest of your top five is. That was a
Curious
more
what yours are.
general sense, though. Creepiness at number five. My number five for you is also kind of a general thing because it's not always a bad thing. So I'm not too annoyed by it, but
Okay.
filters.
Yes.
Filtering on pictures, because when filtering first became a thing, Instagram's been around for about a decade now, but filtering wasn't really that, like, you could put filters to make your photos look like they were from the 50s kind of. But then
Right.
Snapchat came around, and of course there's the dog ears, and that was for fun. But now I don't know if I've seen a female post a picture without some face tuning and filters and blockers and Photoshop. Like, and I'm not saying dudes don't do that, because there are dudes who definitely do it, or put it, because I use filters on Instagram for sure. But you're
Right.
changing your appearance in a huge way that I'm like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Why?
There's a difference. Filters is such an all-encompassing word, but there's a difference between just changing the coloration on a photo because you want it to look cool.
You
You
want it
want
to
it to
look
look a
nice,
little
yeah.
different. Yeah, but there's also the filters where it completely changes your look. I'll admit I do use a lot of filters, but I try my hardest to also not. So people do know the real me and see the real me. Obviously, I understand because I have it too, the insecurities, women feeling a lot of pressure from just society in general of always having to appear perfect. But I do know a lot of women cross the line and I wish that they wouldn't, because I wish they knew, and maybe they do, that it is very obvious. I mean, you're a man and you recognize it. I'm a woman, I recognize it. And I see, especially when it's so over the top and bad. I feel bad for that person actually. When I see someone use those type of filters often, I really wonder about, this sounds so awful, but like what they're going through mentally, like what their insecurities are.
No, I get that. That makes sense.
Yeah. But no, it's deceiving. And so I totally hear what you're saying. I actually agree with you. I wish that we would get away from that, but I really don't. I doubt we're going in that direction.
It's the snake eating its tail. I mean,
Right.
it's, all these gorgeous Instagram models, I think women feel the pressure to at least,
Yeah.
I want to look my best. And if that's going to, if it requires Photoshop or, or a filter of some kind, it's also like the 21st century version of a guy saying, you're so pretty without makeup. Why do you wear so much makeup? Women, I think, get offended by that, or that it pisses them off. They're not offended. Like,
Right.
I'm not wearing makeup for you because I'm trying to take you home. I'm looking nice because I want to look good for
Mhm.
other women or just for myself. And I
Right.
think filtering is the technological version of that. Am I off base
Yeah.
there?
No, I actually think you might be onto something. I know there's a lot of women who truly love makeup because they find the artistry of it fun, and they also
Yeah.
like, manipulating their face to look better. And because they feel it makes them look presentable, to go out into the world. But I do understand men's argument when certain men feel it's a little too much. But of course, there's going to be plenty of other men who don't see it that way and think that girl is beautiful no matter what. But yeah, it might be, it's similar. And I never really
Yeah.
looked at it like that until you brought it up. So,
Something to
can I
think
answer your
about.
question?
Okay. Creepiness was your big number 5. What's the
Yeah.
fourth most annoying thing that dudes do for you?
Okay. Bad hygiene. And I'm not saying guys are like just gross in terms of when women talk smack on guys and they say the meanest things like, oh, they don't wash themselves. I haven't really personally run into that problem. I feel like most guys I go for are pretty clean, but their rooms will be a mess. Their rooms kind of have that smell to them. I always wonder when I go to a guy's place, like, when's the last time he washed his sheets? Like, if you know I'm coming over, like, my favorite kind of guys are the guys where it's pretty obvious to me that he cleaned up a little bit before I came over. Like, not spotless to the point where I'm like, okay, it's obvious, but like, if they've got a candle burning in the corner, like, they know that a girl's coming over, they got to present themselves right. But I can't even tell you how many guys failed to do that. But also like messy trucks. And I get it. Like I kind of like that country guy, right? And I know your
Sure.
truck might have some dirt in it, but if you know you're gonna have a female in it, have a towel ready. Like it's just it's stuff like that that I think about. But I'm sure there's other issues that women would say with cleanliness when it comes to their body and whatnot. But yeah, just they could be better about it.
Well, so does like the 4-in-1 shampoo, face wash, body wash bother you? Like, do you hate when you see that?
Yes. Well, okay. Mm. I like a really masculine guy, but I don't think I, it would still be nice if he had face wash that wasn't drugstore. Like I want more men to take skincare seriously. I don't think it's not just for women, So it would be kind of nice to see guys move in that direction. So please stop using the 4-in-1. I mean, your hair shouldn't smell like your armpits and so on and so forth, but you know,
So I have a theory about why guys, I don't think it's a conscious decision, but I
mhm,
think it's deliberate that guys aren't super hygienic, whether
yeah.
it's personal or their space. Um, for example, I've got this little wristband that I wear,
Mhm.
and there's only wording etched on one side of it. And it always ends up on the bottom of my wrist. And so I'm always flipping it so that the word's on top.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I got to flip it again. But sometimes I'll look down and it's already on top, and I'm bummed that I don't have to fix it. I think women would be bored by a guy who has his shit together.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
I know that this woman wants to fix me and improve upon me, and I'm a
Right.
project. I think women complain about the hygiene thing. BO for sure. That's gross.
Right. I think we can all
But
agree on that.
a messy room, this could be your nest. I want you to make it your own. I want you to like it because you don't like the way I clean up. I think there's a level to that.
Wow, it's so funny because part of me wants to be like, no, women don't want to be men's moms, but
Mm.
there's a guy that I'm like kind of seeing. It's weird, but I like that his house, now that I think about it, I like that it has a sort of like bachelor vibe. And because I do envision myself going into his house, like potentially moving in and like what I would do to fix it up and make it nicer.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
this is something I wouldn't normally admit. This is just something that like sits in the back of my head. And like, when I'm over there, I'm like, I would clean that up and I would hang something there and I would like, yes. So, oh my God, maybe there is something to that.
Hmm.
Wow. I don't know. There's going to be plenty of other women that come back and are like, no, again, women don't want to be men's moms.
We're talking in generalities here
Right.
again. We're
Right. Right. But
just calm down, everybody who's offended.
But from my point of view and perspective, oh my gosh, with the guy that I'm seeing, you might be onto something. Wow.
I love that this
You're
is
in,
opening so many doors.
yeah. Oh my God.
um, my number 4 for you is also kind of a blanket thing. And it's kind of a pet peeve. It doesn't really piss me off. It's kind of an eye roll thing when I see it, but it's usually on Instagram. It's the super deep and poetic captions under a photo. Like, once you become fearless, everything is limitless. Sleep with, every morning you have two choices: sleep with your
Mhm.
dream or wake up and chase them. I'm like, you're just showing off your ass in workout gear. Like,
Right.
what are you? It's always like a very provocative pose showing a lot of skin, which again, cool. Do your thing. I want you to be proud of your body, show it off, do what you want. But don't be a philosopher poet in the caption. You're not fooling anybody. Come on.
I'll be honest with you. I think that's weird. I hate that when I see that. Funny enough, I actually saw it from a country artist today, and it was like this nice pretty photo in like a like two-piece outfit in a field, and yet was talking politics in the caption. I was just like, your photo does not match up. I mean, like, you're cute, this is a great photo, but like, why are you using it for, even if it was taken today, like, it's just so weird. And of course I
Yeah.
see too with the women that are like completely showing off with just the random quote. Why? Just put a peach, be like, look at my dump truck, everyone. Like, let's just keep it real.
That's
I
what
think
I'm saying. Just own what you're doing. We know what you're doing. Just own it. You don't
right.
need to hide behind this complex layer of I'm a deeper individual. Maybe you are, but
I
pick a
agree.
different photo.
Yep.
Okay,
All
so
right.
creepiness number 5. We've got hygiene, overall cleanliness at number 4. What's your number 3?
All right. Number 3. This one's so random, you're gonna laugh. Not going to therapy. This is such like a millennial Gen Z.
This is newer. Yeah.
Yes, this is newer, and I'm seeing this a lot on like TikTok and Twitter. People joke about this a lot, that men don't go to therapy.
Mhm.
And as a straight woman who dates men, y'all need therapy. Seriously, like, I realized about a year ago that I needed therapy for some things from my past, and I got out of a bad relationship, and it like really helped me because I was doing things I shouldn't be doing in relationships, and it really helped me see the light. So I mean, gosh, there are just so many stories from women of just horrible dates or being in relationships with narcissists and all sorts of things. And I'm like, men, take your mental health seriously. If there are things that are happening in your past, and I get it, and it's probably not like masculine to get therapy or to get help in general, to even talk to your friends, to open up about struggling mentally, taking a break. I get it that that's hard for men to do, but it would help all of us, especially women who date you, if you went to therapy, got your together, because you
Yeah.
could end up in a really amazing, good, healthy relationship. And that's what we're all sort of striving for, I
Hey,
think.
if
And
it's
if you're
good
not,
enough
that's
for
cool too. Just for your own sake.
yeah, if it's good enough for Tony Soprano, it's good enough for you, bro. Like, come on.
Yes. That's a good point.
It's interesting. I'm sure you haven't been on Tinder or Bumble in a minute, and you're
Yeah.
usually matching with dudes. But as a guy who's matching with chicks, more often than not, the bio on there is, I won't talk to you unless you're doing work on yourself. Like, that's very
Really?
common for women now.
I
Like,
want to use that.
you should. Like, you either need to
I've
be
never
in
heard that.
therapy or working on your mental health or working on it. Like, you need to be working on yourself. You need to be doing
Right.
something. That comes up frequently. So you're definitely not alone
Really?
there.
Ladies, I love it. Yes, keep putting that energy out there. Hopefully you'll like inspire some men to actually take action.
I think so. I'm 32, and 10 years ago, in college, that wasn't a thing. I feel
Mhm.
like most young people don't, unless, that's changing for the Zennials or whoever's after us. We're
Right.
millennials. But I've had friends that are like seeking help and going out and doing stuff. And like, that blew my mind. I was like, that's awesome, because there used to be such a stigma on it. And
Right.
now I don't want to say it's trendy, because even if it is like a fad or it's
Right.
trendy, then good. That's a
It's a
good
good
trend.
fad. It's a good trend that I hope we keep.
Yeah, it's in vogue to go to your therapist. Well, good. There are worse things that become trends.
Exactly. And who doesn't love talking about what their therapist told them? I mean, it's a great conversation starter.
Yeah. Well, my number three for you is the exact opposite of
Okay.
doing emotional work and being strong mental health wise. My number three is very superficial. Because of women, we have to endure terrible television and movies. The Bachelor, Love in Paradise, the 90 Day Fiance, the uh, all the Hallmark Christmas baker goes to the big city and comes back home. And
Yes.
I get that it's comfort food, it's chicken noodle soup, it's feel good, but I can't stand it. And
Right.
it's not, I'm a single guy for the most part. Uh, they get sucked into watching that crap, and it's because of women that those exist.
It's so true. I have quite a few friends, husbands who watch those shows with them, and my friends swear that they're now obsessed with these shows. And I can't help but think, I'm like, no, they're not. It's because you won't let them watch anything else on the TV.
Yes.
For me, I feel like, but of course, every girl says this, and then you get in the relationship and it all changes. But I am totally cool if we have our own like separate living quarters. I mean, I don't want to live separately,
Right.
but there are things, of course, I want to watch together and cuddle and all that. But if you want to go play video games in the other room while I'm watching over here, or like whatever, you have your man cave. I am so cool with that, because even as a woman, I'm like, I need my space too. Like, I want my garbage or my downtime or my alone time. So, um, ladies, yeah, I feel like, why force guys into watching that? I don't know if any girls actually do, or they just like, but
Yeah. Well, what I don't get is the people who watch this trash TV. It's a lot of single women, but it's mostly couples I've noticed. Like they
Mhm.
watch the Lifetime or I don't even know what channel, TLC, all these dumb shows are on.
Right, yeah, yeah.
But I feel like a lot of my single, women friends watch true crime and murder stuff and serial killer stuff. And then they get in a relationship and they make their dudes watch
Oh,
this fluffy crap. I'm like, what do you go back to being cool, man? Like,
oh my
no
God.
couple ever is like, hey, do you want to watch True Detective tonight and just kind of chill? No. It's
Right.
never Breaking Bad. It's always Love Island or The Bachelorette or some shit.
Why is that so true? Because that's true about my friends that are in relationships, but I actually don't watch any of those shows. That's like one part of like being in radio, you're always supposed to be like on top of everything. Now
Mhm.
I know what those shows are, and I see enough on Twitter to kind of feel like I'm caught up, but I do not watch any of that crap. Like I don't even know what I'm into. I'm all over the place. Like whatever's hot on Netflix. But yeah, like why is it that couples like trash TV? It's like mind numbing or something. I don't know.
I don't know, but I was bothered enough to put it at number three. So
Yeah.
uh,
This is quite the
we've got
discussion.
creepy dudes at number five. We've got bad hygiene at number four. We've got dudes need to go to therapy. Get
Yes.
yourself worked on. Number two, most annoying thing dudes do. What do you got?
Okay. And I feel like all of mine are very general, and I apologize for that. But poor communication. I should also say that I'm 31. So all my superficial stuff is like out the window. At this point, I'm like, what are you going to do for me emotionally? Like, are you going to be a rock? Like, I'm getting to the point where I do want a rock on my finger. So I'm thinking about, like, who are you as a person? What's your personality like? Poor communication. Men are notorious for this, not really telling us how they feel, or well, it's funny. I actually asked for a guy to tell me his true feelings, and he was like a little too honest. And that like really broke me. So, like, you need a nice little happy medium. We want men to talk to us and tell us straight up, either what they're feeling or just, I don't know, in all aspects, but do it in a way that's nice and makes a woman feel comforted and, good.
Okay. I definitely understand. I feel like you want it both ways. You want uh, communication on how he's feeling emotionally about stuff, or communication like, hey, I'm going to be late, like that kind of like legit,
Okay,
literal
so now that I'm
communication.
thinking about it, I when I wrote this, I'm thinking more emotional when it comes to emotions. Um, yeah. But you know what? I also had an ex who never told me when they were going to be there. Like they were always late and they were like, "Oh, I'll be there." And then like they would show up like 45 minutes later, and that bothered me so much so. So you
I can't
might be
stand
onto
people like
something
that.
with that. It's just I found that women, it's like we over communicate. Like we want people to know just what's going on in our lives throughout our day. We just want to discuss whatever is going on in the day with the guy that we like or our partner, you know, and men are just
Yeah.
like not
Well,
the same.
I've noticed because I'm friends with a lot of married couples, I get to witness a lot of this miscommunication sometimes.
Mhm.
The difference is guys will just tell you a story. Women want to share their story with you. Like there's a distinct difference there. And it's interesting when couples and single people interact because and it's usually the woman, but not always, because you know it is both sides. But like they'll be telling me a story, like, yes, we went to Lowe's on Saturday, we had to get some lumber, and that, or was it, hey, hon, was that Saturday or Sunday that we went to Lowe's? I don't care what day you went to the store. I don't need every single damn
Right.
detail of your story. Uh,
That's so
so in that frame, I don't need all the communication, and I feel like uh, this is super general. I know lots of great female storytellers, but a lot of the times females give you details where I'm like, could you just get to the story, please? Like,
right.
come
Keep it going.
on.
Keep it going. I
Yeah.
like what you said though. I'd never heard that before where, you know, women share, men just tell.
Men tell a story. It's like getting stuff at the store. Men go
Yeah,
buy stuff. Women shop around. Like there's just a
totally.
difference. It's the same thing, but different.
Okay, so basically what I learned from this is talk to my female friends, share with them, just talk, tell
Well,
with
I think every situation will be different because you're gonna, if you date a guy who is emotionally communicative, you won't have those issues. But you also, if you're gonna date a rock, who's never gonna want to open up, one, you need to figure out, am I okay with that? And if
right.
I am, you're right. Have a plan. Like I talked to Rachel and Phoebe. Sorry, those are friends characters. I'm gonna talk to my friends and uh, get my emotions out and talk about my day and find that happy medium. But every guy's different. Every relationship's going to be different. So
Totally.
um, okay, I have a feeling you're going to be with me on my number two. I have a
Okay.
feeling
I
you're going to
can't
be
wait.
like, yes. um, my number two, I'll recap. My number five most annoying thing about chicks: filters. Instagram, super deep poetic captions on Instagram. Terrible TV and movies is number three. And my number two most annoying thing: multi-level marketing. That's the I'm selling makeup and beauty products, and I want you to be on my team, and we got to get three other people, and eventually it's just one big pyramid scheme. And hey, I haven't talked to you in 10 years, but I wanted to talk to you about this great product that your family is going to want. And hey, I know that all these people have been asking me, so I wanted to do this video. Nobody's been asking you about this product. You're just making
Right.
shit up. Stop. I
Hmm.
can't stand it. How do you feel about the multi-level
I think
marketing?
you are speaking to everyone's soul except those people who are part of the market scheme who are like trying to convince themselves that they're not. It needs to stop. I actually feel so bad for these people, especially women, because they seem to be like the vulnerable group, or it's mostly, you know, female products. Like I've seen lashes, the hair care, the, you know, the teas, the tummy wraps, all of that. And it's just, I wish they knew. I know that they're probably like hard up and they're looking for work and they think that this is going to be like independent and easy. I get that side of it. I get how they're sucked into it, but girl, you have to know the truth and nobody wants that crap. Like I already have shampoo that I get from my stylist, you know what I mean, that I know is right for my hair. I already use skincare that's right for my skin because I have an
Yes.
esthetician. Like I don't need this cheap crap because that's what it is.
Yeah, I've never understood that. Going back to our hygiene discussion, every woman, imagine having to go to a different hairdresser.
I,
Imagine switching up your skincare routine. You're never going to switch it up.
no, no. Like even the
Never.
thought of it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I get
Well,
scared.
and to me, I've always thought it was like Christmas, these multi-level marketers, because it's like I get my parents a $50 Amazon gift card. They get me a $50 Amazon gift card, and then we just swap gifts.
Yeah,
I'm going to buy your beauty products. So, cause you're going to buy my beauty products. I'm like, how are you making any money
they
doing
aren't.
that? Like, ugh.
I just watched a whole TikTok on this. I don't know the numbers, but most of these, like the biggest pyramid schemes that are out right now, I mean, it shows that these people do not make money. And the money that they do make in the year is like maybe like $60 or something like that. Like, and this is 94% of the people who sell these products make less than $100 a year.
Yeah. And the ones that are, cause I'll see some people, it's kind of like the Avon lady back in the day that had the pink car,
Yeah.
or I don't know, the Mary Kay
Mary
people.
Kay, yes.
There's one who's really good and she's got the Cadillac and she's got the power suit or whatever. Go sell cars. Go make real money
Right.
selling. You clearly have a gift. Why are you peddling makeup?
Right. Get into media sales, man. We could always use new salespeople.
Yes.
You want to
Give
sell
me an endorsement,
advertising? Come
please.
on. Come test. So,
Okay. So we've reached number one. You've had a great list so far of all the things men need to work on: being creepy, being hygienic, or not hygienic, needing to go to therapy, communication skills that are lacking.
mhm.
I'm fascinated. What is your number
Right.
one thing you are
Drum roll.
annoyed by dudes?
Lack of commitment. This has been a
Ah,
huge issue for me. Now, I get it. If I'm not your girl, I totally understand. But there's been quite a few scenarios where it really feels like I am. And we get to a point where we're actively dating, all of that. And then it's just sort of, you know what, but I'm not really looking. Well, some of them don't say it. It's implied. And I'm the type where I don't want to get my feelings hurt, so I don't want to dig too deep, but I have boundaries and I know the truth. Like I can read people's body language. I can, I know when they like when I don't get too attached or say certain things or hit them up at certain times. And I'm like, okay, this dude just doesn't want to commit. Or maybe he does, but it's just not with me. And that probably goes into the whole communication thing. Like, oh, you
yeah.
should probably just tell me. But then I'm also like, I don't want my feelings hurt. So it's a bad cycle. But it's just one right after another. And there's been quite a few. I mean, people just come out and say it on social media. I can't even tell you how many guys' profiles say just looking for something casual, like not looking for anything serious.
Yeah.
God, and even the people friends with benefits, I'm like, why would you even put that on there? Like, get off dating apps. Like maybe 3% of the women on here are looking for just sex, but the rest are not. They want
Because they're
so
selling
much
it, not
commitment.
because they're interested.
Yes, they want to be courted. They want to date. They want to see, we want to find a man.
Have you found that, is it possible that you are attracted to the guys who don't want to commit
You
and you're
know,
kind of turned off by the ones who are kind of legit ready to settle down?
this is definitely something I've been working out in therapy.
Oh,
I
I
committed
don't want to
therapy.
get you on the couch. I'm just
No, no,
curious.
no, no, no. But you know what? In the past, yes, I definitely think so. Um, of course, I'm like, is it really that? I don't know how to put this. It's you. I always feel like the guys that I'm actually attracted to, the guys that I actually feel like I have something in common with, and we vibe well, and we have a friendship, are the ones that kind of do me wrong. And I feel like I'm sure there could be in my past like some psychological things that have played into it, but I'd like to think that that's not the truth, that I am going for the guys that I truly want to go for, and they just simply aren't on the same page as me. But, maybe, maybe because there are plenty of other good guys, but I feel like the good guys, because there's a few I can think of who would hands down would be with me tomorrow if I asked them to be. But I simply am just not attracted to them in that way. And as good as they are and as many times as I've like given them chances to kind of prove to me or for me to like get those feelings, it just wasn't there.
Right.
So and I
Well,
don't want to lead anybody on.
well, that's kind of you because that could easily be in my top five: women who lead dudes on. Not fair.
Yeah, which
Um,
definitely, and I've done that in the past. But now that I'm older, I'm like, You'll know. You'll know if I'm like, oh, friend zoning you, or it's not quite there. And if you ask, I'll tell you straight up. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't help that we live in this baseball card society. Back in 1921, there was no internet. You basically married the girl that was down the street and you raised
Yeah.
a family together. Now it's how I can trade up. I can do a little better. I can go on Marketplace and make a little more than what I paid. And we use that in our relationships, and that definitely doesn't make it easy because you're constantly, even if you're not looking for another person or to improve upon your current relationship, it's in your face all the time.
Right.
Here's what you could have. Here's what you could be a little happier than you are. And it's
Right.
just a consistent cycle of being disappointed.
That's like a whole podcast in itself because you nailed it. It's true. I talk about this all the time. The dating app culture, I'm not going to say it ruined things because I have met some amazing people. I've met some guys on there that are now really good friends of mine. I've had some fun experiences, but it is disheartening because I feel that way. I always feel like guys, and I'm always saying, like, is it California or is this everywhere? That there's just always something better. Like, I'll think that I'm dating a guy and things are going great. And then, girls, we get to this point where we start snooping just a little bit to get some more information. And
As
I'll
you
see
do.
like he's followed so many new girls on Instagram. And I'm like, well, where are you finding these girls? Like, clearly off of dating apps. Like, and it's discouraging. And then of course I start comparing myself to all these girls and I'm like, oh my God, but she's so pretty. And oh my God, she has like an amazing job. And like, not
Ugh.
that I don't or anything. And I'm proud of myself and what I've got going for myself. But it's just, that's the way it seems. Like you can just keep swiping, keep it moving on the explore page of Instagram. And
Yeah. Social media
I'm
has
like, is it going to
done a
get
lot of
worse
damage.
before it gets better? Like, where are we at? Like, but yeah, lack of
Well,
commitment. That's what it boils down to.
you know, it's perfect that our top fives have gone the way that they have because, of course, you, a woman, has very deep, you have very deep, complex gripes with men, communication and commitment and personal health and hygiene. And
Mhm.
mine are like, I don't like filters. Like, I'm a dude.
I had a
Uh,
weird, oh my gosh, you know what? Before we did this, I was about to hit you up and ask you, did you do really specific things or more generalizations, like something broader? And I didn't because I was curious to see how it would be because I was like, does that say something about men and women? Like the fact that you would choose, I'm not saying superficial, but like, yeah, like, I don't know, more specific, somewhat superficial things where I'm
yeah.
like, again, the deeper, more emotional.
Well, and I would come off as a total jerk if I'm like, God, women, bap, 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 could you communicate a little less? Like, I'm not going to do that. Um, but I also like, I wanted to pick things that, because there were a lot of things I came up with. Like, my list was long,
Mhm.
but I started to realize, oh, this is just a people thing. People suck. It's not you can't put
Right.
this on women. Or,
Yeah.
you know, is it really that big of a deal? I think I think it says volumes that mine are kind of nitpicky and yours are like legitimate issues.
Right.
Because my number one for you, I think you will also agree with, like the multi-level
Okay.
marketing. But I had filters, Instagram captions, terrible TV and movies. I think that one could be higher. Multi-level marketing, my number one most annoying thing that women do: upspeak and vocal fry.
Oh, that's me.
When they No, you don't.
Oh, I vocal fry so bad, especially now because I've been up since 3:30 this morning. I'm like, but I am such a vocal fryer. But do you
This is
mean
you vocal frying right now?
yes? Oh, you don't hear it? It
No.
also it might be the way I'm sitting too, but yeah. But I think I know what you go on. Continue what you're saying because I think I know what you mean.
Well, the upspeak is way worse than the vocal fry. I'm only putting vocal fry in there as kind of, it's when it's really kind of drawn out. Like, you don't talk like that. That's the vocal fry. The upspeak is what really pisses me off. When girls, they talk like this, and every question, like every sentence sounds like it's a question. It goes up at the end. Oh my God. You're a
Right.
grown woman. Why are you talking like that?
Well, the first one is definitely the Kardashians. They came up with that, women emulate it, and now that's just how women sound.
Yeah.
There are plenty of girls, I don't even know, know why I'm bringing up TikTok so much, but there are so many girls on TikTok who have that sound. And I'm like, you literally, if I closed my eyes, I would think that you were Kourtney Kardashian. Like you were trying to be something and sound a certain way. And I know you don't actually sound like that. But the up
Yeah,
one does it for me too. That drives me insane.
the Upspeak, that one really bothers me. The vocal fry though, it's kind of hack to rag on the Kardashians at this point. People make fun of them all the time. And I recently had a revelation because I used to make fun of Kim all the time because I, hack stand-up comic. But I'm like, no, this chick really, her interview on Letterman's show on Netflix was what kind of started. I was like, this chick really knows business. She's very smart, very successful. Um, I was like, Kim Kardashian is not the enemy, but you're right. That's exactly where that came from because everybody started talking like that. And I'm like, oh God, it spawned an entire generation of that.
Yeah.
So superficial and not deep and totally on the surface for a guy. My number one
But I
is
love
annoying
it.
upspeak.
I love comparing our lists like that because it's just so funny to me. There's got to be something, you know,
What
psychological about that, or just the differences between men and women in general.
It's very true. And see, and I knew that's why I wanted you to do this episode because you, again, we've never met, but I feel like I know you so well because you're so effusive online and you really let people into, your daily goings on with people. And
Right.
I've witnessed some interactions that you've shared with dudes and I'm like, oh, she's going to be great to really let us in on what's annoying. You had a very good top 5. What honorable mentions did you have that we
All right.
didn't
I
quite
think
get
it's,
to?
hold on. So I have, oh, this one, again, this is deep though. Slut shaming, yet enjoying porn and Instagram models and following them. I've heard guys do this about their friends. Like they talk about their female friends and they say negative things. I always call them out, by the way. And I'm like, dude, she just likes having sex, but she's actually dating around. Like it would think she's trying to find a partner. Just because she has sex with men doesn't mean that she's not like, a legit good person. That doesn't somehow like demean her, you know what I mean, or make her
Mhm.
any less than. But yet these same guys enjoy porn. They love looking at Instagram models and stuff. And I'm like, dude, like don't be saying that about your friends or the girl you're dating or your ex when you're also into that.
I 100% agree with you. I will say though, and I don't know, maybe uh, I have a feeling that you're probably, I could be wrong. Are you friends more with guys than you are with chicks?
I have a nice mix.
Do
I
you?
do,
Okay.
yes, but I have plenty of guy friends.
Okay. So you have a lot of witnessing that. I'm friends with a ton of chicks
Mhm.
and they have the same problem with slut shaming. I feel like I'm not going to say it's worse or the same,
Yeah,
but women put down women for those reasons a lot. So I'm not saying it's definitely a dude problem for sure,
right.
but
I
that's
try.
kind of universal that people need to
Yeah.
get over it. I think.
I think it also depends on the woman. And I think that society, we're kind of getting better about this. And maybe it's just
Yeah,
because I live in California. It's like a different breed of human being out here. But
true.
I've had people like correct me when I said things like prostitute or whatever. And they'll be like, excuse me, the correct term is actually sex worker. And I'm like, okay, yeah, sorry.
So
But
I'm never going to move to California. I
right,
can't.
yeah,
I
don't.
can't handle that.
Yeah, you'll get checked all the time.
No thanks.
Um, but yeah, let's see what other ones I have. I have one more. I forget what it is. Oh, being so critical of women's looks. Now I know, now I feel bad because, well, if I think about it, I can be pretty critical too. But sometimes I hear guys talking and it's just so bad the way they pull women apart. And I know that they're joking and having their like bro time, but especially as a woman, when I overhear some of it, I'm like, what do you say about me? Or like, what would you say about one of my friends? Like, it's not that deep. Like, not every woman is going to be a knockout 10. Not every woman's going to have perfect skin, a perfect body. And it's just, I'm not saying all men do this. This might even be just like a small percentage. And maybe
Sure.
we're getting away from that more. We're being more mindful of these kind of things. But Like, you gotta tone down on the criticalness when it comes to looks. Like, really appreciate people for who they are, or at least try. Give women a break.
I agree. And I think it's part of a larger problem in our society,
Mhm.
because the way what you just described reminds me of when a new movie comes out, and I am very guilty of this.
Me too.
Like a new movie comes out, and you know your buddy, you ask him, hey, you saw whatever movie, did you like it? It didn't blow me away. Not everything needs to blow you away.
Right.
Sometimes a movie can just be a 6.5 on IMDb and just be fine. Like,
Totally.
and I feel like that's everything. Like if I go, like people, this, okay, this is Yelp, Google review of society. And it's women's looks, it's or people's looks. It's that movie didn't blow me away. I went to the restaurant. It was okay. I thought it was a little overpriced. Like, not everything is going to be perfect. Not everything is going to be 5 stars. You need to lower your expectations because we're so used to Amazon just, oh, there it is at my doorstep. Like, I get whatever I want in life now.
Right.
You don't. You shouldn't get everything you want in life because the whole world all of a sudden becomes petulant children. You can't deal with people. And I think that's what you're talking about. There's, you'll find any reason to cut something down or criticize it. No, it's okay. Not everything has to be a 10, like you said.
And not everything has to be verbalized. Like, even you, I think it's good for your own mental
Yeah.
health is to stop criticizing people so much based on surface level things. Like, think about something else. Try to like flip it. Try to look at whatever's positive in that person or in the world. I think we should all try to, that's something, food for thought.
I like it. I feel like we're solving a lot of problems on this
We are.
episode.
This is like a really deep discussion, but it's probably because I'm making it that way, and I'm sorry.
No, I love it because my honorable mentions are not deep either. They're not complex. Um, one of them kind of is, but I felt it was more universal, not just women. Because like I said, I've got a lot of chick friends. I've always gotten along with women really well. That's going back to being in school. And the not taking good advice, especially when they asked for it, like, yeah, no, don't go out with him. This is going to happen. You're going to get hurt. And then it happens. You're like, I told you. Why even bother asking for advice? Now, that is kind of a universal thing because I feel like dudes don't take advice either, but I also feel like they don't ask as much.
Right.
I've had a lot of chick friends that are like, so there's this guy and there's this, and it's
In
going to
my
play out this way.
Yeah. In my experience too, it's a lot of women. It's women. Men, I think, naturally have more boundaries. And that's something that women really need to start working on when it comes to dating, just bringing up that example that you did. Women, it's like we just want to think that every guy's perfect or we're going to somehow change them, or because we're attracted to them that we should just sort of stick with it. And then they end up getting hurt in the end. There were
Yeah.
so many times where I didn't take my own friends' advice, and I really wish I had, because looking back, they were right. They were absolutely right. But, I guess you kind of have to let your friends make their own mistakes. But
Yeah, no, you're right. There is a level of you can't bowl with the bumpers on every time. Like, you have to learn things in life because that's how you learn. That's how you grow. But the serial avoiders of advice, I'm like, could you just learn to take my advice just once and
yeah,
not have it ruin your life? Because it's always they come crying or it's the end of the world. My life is over. Now, a lot of that was from when I was younger, but still,
right.
it lingers a little bit. The other thing, honorable mention I had was social media related. I kind of can't stand the sorority pose. I'm kind of over it.
Which
The
one's that?
the hand on the hip with the elbow out.
Yeah.
And this is very specific, but it's also very superficial. When there's a group of women there's a group shot in a picture that they post, and it's kind of a candid where they're like laughing at each other, staring at each other for the picture. And I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, like
There
you
are
guys are
so
so fun.
yeah.
And
Or
that's
the
where I
ones
feel like the
that goes
grandpa
over
who's
the
just
down,
bitching, but
like, those. You're
yes.
like, what are you looking at? I wish girls
Yeah.
could see that some of their poses are just so over the top and corny. And it's like, just be yourself, having fun. Like, people love candid more. And I think maybe men love candid more because it shows who you really are. When everything's so manufactured, it's just like, why? Like,
Yeah, I think there's something to that. And we really should make fun of dudes because they're even worse. The guys that don't smile in pictures are just,
Or the
they think they're cool, or like, like they don't,
yeah,
they're in their truck like
or
that.
just
Like,
working out.
dude, you're such a joke right now.
Yeah, I'm always down to make fun of dudes too.
Well, this was a lot of fun. I
So
appreciate
much
you
fun.
taking the time to do it. Cody, where can people find you online? Where can they listen to you? All that good stuff.
They can find me. Cody on the radio is pretty much my handles. Twitter, Instagram, even on Facebook. I'm on 1051 KNCI in Sacramento. We can be found at kncifm.com. You can listen online. You can even tell your Alexa, mine's going to go off, that you can listen online. So make sure to do that sometime. And I'm on 5 to 10 a.m.
Awesome. Well, I guess there is a bit of a time difference, but you probably have to go to bed pretty early to do the
Yeah.
morning show. So,
Like at this
um,
point, I've so hit my wall and I had such a busy day. So I appreciate everyone listening to me even while I'm kind of like in and out. But yeah, I've been up since 3:30 this morning and I will be tomorrow too.
well, I really appreciate you taking the time, and we'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Of course. Thank you.